even though I wake up every day staring at the ceiling of this house that ruined my life for 3 years, I now am able to find a way to make that a win. And by make that a win, I mean I've since invested in 20 or more rental buildings. I've sold a few. I've kept a few. We have about 70 doors, and I've done about 20 flips. And my team is selling a couple hundred homes a year. We're very busy. I'm all in on real estate, and I owe that to, one, those mistakes I made, but two, the BRRRR method.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Investor Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kessel, and today I'm joined by someone that I'm looking forward to chatting with, William Holder, who has been making serious moves as a real estate investor as well as agent. So excited to have you on the show today, William.
Yes, excited to be on here. Thank you.
Great. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching scaling your real estate portfolio using the BRRRR method. So excited to dive in.
Awesome. So, predominantly what I do and what I've followed over the last 8 years of being an investor is the BRRRR method. And a little backstory, in 2011, I think just like most people, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it kind of legitimately rewired my brain, right? I always thought I was going to be working a 9 to 5, and maybe at some point in my life, I'd make 6 figures and hopefully retired happily. And after reading that book, I realized I had this whole thing incorrect. I was going about it the wrong way. I had to become my own boss. So the problem was I was 25, I was broke, didn't really have any money or anything to put into it. I moved to America in 2002 when I was 15, didn't really have any money or connections, and finished high school, worked a couple of jobs, went to community colleges, but really didn't know like what I wanted to do or how to figure this out. And after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I decided I got to bet on myself. I mean, if I'm going to change my life and, the life for my family, I had to go a different route. So I decided to get my real estate license and to invest in real estate, but quickly found out you need to make money to invest in real estate. So started selling a few homes here or there to a few of my friends and family members after my full-time job, and just kind of slowly fell in love in that side of the industry and realized there's a real business there. If you scaled it, there's a real business. And that was my way to get into real estate investing. So I decided to quit my job, go into real estate full time. It was a big swing, but after 2 years and building up a pretty strong real estate business, I was able to get back into investing. What I learned in that 2 years is that there are a lot of investors out there, and they don't really value real estate agents nearly as much as they should, in my opinion, at least. So I got taken advantage of by a few investors, and it's my own fault. I should have seen it coming, but they would get frustrated, tell me they weren't making money. I would cut my commissions, and after a few years of doing that, I just decided, this isn't that difficult. I can do this, right? I can figure this out. So there was a property that came up in a town I lived nearby, pretty awesome property. And this was 2017, 2 years of me being a realtor. And it wasn't hard to find deals back then. In 2017, people were finding deals all over the place, right? It wasn't a very difficult thing to do. Was to find a flip or a BRRR. I didn't even know about BRRRs really that well at that point, but I knew about flips. And a property came up. My client bid on it. There were 20 offers. We lost. It went back on the market. We bid again.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Same thing, another bunch of offers we lost. It fell through again. And the agent who knew me, done a couple deals with me, reached out and said, "Hey, Will, I know you're a good agent. The bank's frustrated here. This was a foreclosure. They know you'll close. I know you'll close. So can you, let me know if your buyer's interested. I'll get you this deal." So I reached out to them and they didn't want to do it. And again, these were the investors that I think were kind of taking advantage of the situation of me being a bit of a rookie. So I decided I'm going to do this flip myself. And, that was probably the worst and best decision of my life. I have a pretty hellish story when it comes to that transaction. I closed on it. My sister and I decided to go in and try to do this flip ourselves. And one of the things I teach to people that I speak to and my agents is don't go too big too fast. And I learned that from going too big too fast, right? I bought a property that needed to essentially be knocked over. And at the time, I was optimistic. I did some rookie things, like I got 3 contractors, went with the cheapest one, got left in the dust by 2 contractors, got left in the dust by a lawyer. I mean, it was 3 years of torture of my life getting through this flip, and really taught me all the things I don't want to do as a real estate investor, right? I'm lucky that I was able to sell enough real estate to keep myself afloat and to really build myself back up whilst getting out of this project. And I remember it every day, and I try to take as many of the experiences I got from that and apply them to what I've done since, because I still live in the house to this day. In 2020, when we were completed with the project, I put it on the market. 2 months later, COVID happened in Pennsylvania, where we live. You weren't allowed to sell real estate. So I decided to sat there, looked at my wife and said, "I think we're moving into this thing. I don't think, selling it at a loss is a plus for us at this point in our life." So it worked out. I mean, I just had my first kid. We needed a bigger house anyway. We moved in. Luckily, with appreciation and with the way things have changed, the house is worth a lot more than it was back then. And if I were to sell it today, it won't be a break even anymore. And I was able to parlay that into some significant wins, because the appreciation and the value in the property led me to be able to take out a line of credit, which I've used to invest over and over and over again since that loss. So even though I wake up every day staring at the ceiling of this house that ruined my life for 3 years, I now am able to find a way to make that a win. And by make that a win, I mean, I've since invested in 20 or more rental buildings. I've sold a few. I've kept a few. We have about 70 doors, and I've done about 20 flips. And, my team is selling a couple hundred homes a year. We're very busy. I'm all in on real estate. And I owe that to one, those mistakes I made, but two, the BRRRR method. And I'm not sure if I'm sure your viewers are familiar with the BRRRR method. Anyone that's listened to Bigger Pockets or anything of that nature, or any investor type podcast, I've heard of the BRRRR method. But for those that don't, it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I've even heard someone put depreciate in there, which is certainly something people should think about as well. But I learned that, to me, it's the best way to invest in real estate, especially as someone that's not coming into the business or the industry with a lot of money. It's really a good way to rinse and repeat and reuse your money as often as possible, right? And
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
it's the hardest, in my opinion. It's the hardest type of investing because you're doing all of the things that every of the other stages has, right? If you're a flipper, you're buying, you're fixing it up, and you're reselling it. If you're turnkey investor, you're buying it and you're renting it. With BRRRR, you're buying, you're looking for a deal, you're buying the deal, you're rehabbing the deal, you're renting it, you're refinancing, and you're going at it all over again. It's all of the steps compacted into one transaction, and it's very, 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 very difficult. And it's a tough pill to swallow because most people don't realize that, when you're done with a BRRRR or turning a property into an investment property, you're really not making that much money, right? At the end of the day, if you're looking at it from a per door perspective, you're not making that much money. On average, we make somewhere around $150 to $200 per door after all is said and done every month. That's after we factor for principal, interest, taxes, insurance, capital expenditures, vacancies, any utilities that we pay for as a landlord. And personally, I factor 18% for property management. I know a lot of people do 10%, but I've always found that doing 18% is more accurate over time because you're factoring at worst that your property manager is going to have to turn the unit over every year. And if that's the case and they're taking a full month's rent, you're really only getting 11 months rent each year, not 12. So looking at that number, it's really not just 10%, it's closer to 18% when you're all said and done. So it's not easy to find a good deal that fits in that framework. You really, really, really have to dig. And in order to do that, that might require you getting out of your comfort zone, right? It require you investing in markets that maybe aren't in your primary market or aren't somewhere you thought you would be an investor in. So, one of the main things I teach people when we're doing BRRRRs is expect that this is a method that works at scale. It doesn't work if you're looking to retire from your job this year or in the next 5 years or even the next 10 years. It's a method that works at scale. You have to start slow, understand, learn, take your lumps on a small property, and then eventually grow that to the point where you have enough that maybe you can clump those properties, sell them, do a 1031 exchange, and buy something with a larger down payment, and then BRRRR a bigger project. And that's when you really start to see the profit stacking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. I love how you really simplified that process and, yeah, just shared how it has been supportive for your journey and how you've made it work and some of the roadblocks that can happen. It's important for people to be aware of all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think an important part and something you guys asked for is kind of defining, what your goal is from all of this before you get into it. Like, because in any career, in any journey or anything you chase in life, you need to have a goal, or else it's just going to lead to an empty result, right? And it's corny, but the result's not the good part. The journey is. So in terms of this, for me, it's always been about eventually having an easier life for my kids, for my family, to give them an opportunity that I never had growing up.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And that's the end result, but I'm having fun along the way now. I mean, I didn't have fun for 3 years. It was a nightmare. It was terrible. I had to learn how to have fun doing this again. And that means finding properties I enjoy doing this, and people I enjoy doing this with, and like-minded individuals to do this with. And luckily, I've built a pretty strong core group of people around me over the years that know who I am, how I operate. And when you're choosing partners to do these with, and I'm not a syndicator, I don't have tons of money from a lot of people in some sort of fund that I invest in. I'm either doing this with my own money, or I'm partnering with a friend or two or a family member. But it's really important to pick the right people to do that with, people that align with your goals, people that understand their role in the organization, people that are going to do as much as necessary. A lot of people expect you to do everything, and if you're giving money as well as doing everything, that could become overwhelming. So, I've aligned myself with partners that understand their role. They might lean on me for the evaluation, finding the deals, running the numbers, but they know when it comes to running out to the properties or dealing with tenant issues or things of that nature, that's kind of where I'm going to tap into them, right? And having partners that are along that same path is really, really huge. If you pick the wrong ones, that could be a recipe for disaster. So, being honest about your expectations, defining your roles clearly, and knowing kind of what season of life you're in, I think is really important. If you I've seen this happen with some groups, and luckily I haven't been a part of it, but, if you have partners that are maybe, some are older, they're empty nesters, they have more time, and then you have some younger partners that have young kids and their life is currently run 24/7 by work and kids, might not make for a good partnership, right? That one person is expecting a lot more of the other. So you really have to pick your bandwidth, understand your roles as partners in this entity. And I think that's really important. Now, if you're doing some sort of syndication, that's obviously handled a lot differently, and it's not my forte, but I personally don't like to do anything on my own. I just think I tried that before. It didn't work out for me. I like to have some people there to help me and also enjoy this with and keep me in check. If I'm getting a little bit out of control, or taking things too lightly, we're there for each other, so I hope that helps people that are looking to set up some sort of partnership. That advice at least helps them not make any big mistakes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that partnership is so important because, yeah, it's a lot of work, and having the right people on your team can definitely make that process so much smoother. So, something I'd love to ask you is, what are you most focused right now on solving or scaling when it comes to your business?
So that's a great question, and it's something that I think about every day, because I have a real estate team with 20 something agents. We're very busy. We have other companies, titled property management, and I'm trying to do all of that and enjoy that while still remembering my main goal, which is investing in real estate. Everything I do is to invest in real estate. Sometimes too much. Sometimes I spend all of my extra cash on just investing in real estate, and I have to reel myself back in and remember I do have a life to live and other businesses to run. So, one of my main goals is scaling responsibly, scaling at a pace that makes sense, setting realistic goals when it comes to that. If you'd asked me 8 years ago, I would have told you in 10 years I'd be retired and, on a beach. And I know that's not the case anymore. I know that's not happening anytime soon. I'm okay with that. And I don't think it would be for me anyway. I'd probably go crazy because I have ADHD or whatever. But, I personally want to enjoy this and scale with the right people and scale responsibly. And we look at everything on a very professional level. All my partners and I, we meet once a week for the different entities. We have a quick 15-minute check-in just to make sure that we are, on the same path and our businesses are heading in the right direction. And I want to use that to build these businesses so that they never fail. I want properties that are well taken care of. I'm not trying to be, taking care of properties that could be considered slums. I want properties that are really well taken care of, properties that are good places for people to live, that are asking reasonable rents, and I can look back on and be proud of one day. So scaling my businesses at a responsible and reliable rate, I think, is the number one focus for us right now.
Definitely. I love how you touched on the sustainability piece and, moving things at that level instead of trying to do it all, fast and maybe making it more messy than it needs to be. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you say one of the biggest lessons is that you've learned from your investing journeys? I know you mentioned earlier that you've had some obstacles and you've learned a lot through overcoming them. So, maybe you can expand on one of those.
Yeah, I think probably patience is my biggest uh point to learn is to be patient, but responsibly patient. You could be overly patient and that can hurt you. An example I've had of that is I had a property manager that I gave way too long to try to stabilize a property, and in the end, I was trying to be understanding. I'm in real estate. I rent properties as well. It's a different market than me, so I couldn't do it myself. And I thought I'd give this property manager the benefit of the doubt, and that was a mistake. If I look back, it probably cost me a lot of money and headaches, and I'm still restabilizing that building. So, that version of patience is probably a bad is an example of how not to be patient when it comes to scaling my businesses and understanding that things don't happen overnight and there really isn't anything as easy money. In my opinion, the more it's worth, the harder it's going to be. And being patient and building out that, that timeline realistically and having realistic expectations as to what you're actually going to make from that project or how long it's going to take to stabilize that project, I think is probably the biggest thing I've learned is to be patient in the right ways.
Yeah, I think patience is such an important lesson for everyone, whether you're an investor or not, especially someone that is an entrepreneur and, wanting something that's sustainable and for that long-term vision and not just like a quick short-term hit. That's so important.
For sure.
Awesome. So before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out to you, connect, learn more, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm very active in the real estate investor community. I run the Grid Delco chapter. You can find us on YouTube. You can also find me through my team at the William Holder Realty team, or you can email me, will@williamholderrealty.com, or you could call or text our phone, 484-744-4053. I'm very responsive. I try to get back to people as soon as possible. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. I do a free monthly seminar with Grid that people can come to or visit on using the Zoom link as well, if you ever wanted to be a part of those. And we rotate topics monthly as well, so that could be really, really helpful for some people. I'm trying to just run these seminars to educate people so they don't make the mistakes I've made. There's really no added benefit to it. To me, they're free, they're informational. I found it to be a really great place to socialize and meet other people that are like-minded. I've met some of the people I invest with today at these seminars. So if people want to reach out to me or ever jump on those, I'd love to see them.
Perfect. I love that opportunity. Well, I really appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. And for those listeners tuning into the show, if you got value from this, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators just like William who are building real businesses, and we'll see you all on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.